The Supreme Court rules Senator Leila de Lima's request to junk her drug charges is denied, and she remains in detention. Anjo Alimario breaks down for us how the justices voted.
It's a battle she brought all the way to the Supreme Court since she was detained in February. Voting 9 in favor and 6 against, the court junked Senator Leila de Lima's petition seeking her release for lack of merit. This means she has to face trial at the Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court. Those who voted to dismiss de Lima's petition were Associate Justices Presbitero Velasco, Teresita Leonardo de Castro, Diosdado Peralta, Lucas Bersamin, Mariano del Castillo, Samuel Martires, Noel Tiham, Andres Reyes, and Alexander Gesmundo. Those who voted to grant her petition were Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, Associate Justices Estela Perlas Bernabe, Marvic Leonen, Alfred Benjamin Cagiwa, and Francis Hardileza. The High Court ruled that the Regional Trial Court has jurisdiction over de Lima's cases and not the Sandigan Bayan. It added the Sandigan Bayan's jurisdiction is limited to violations of the anti-graft laws and do not extend to violations of the drugs law. It upheld that Judge Juanita Guerrero did not commit grave abuse of discretion in issuing an arrest warrant against de Lima even before resolving the senator's motion to quash. The court said Guerrero considered all evidence at the preliminary investigation and did not disregard her duty to determine probable cause personally. The court also took note of the affidavits of NBI agent, former Corrections Chief Rafael Ragos, and convicted drug lord Peter Co, which outlined a case of illegal drug trading committed in conspiracy when de Lima was then the Justice Secretary. Supreme Court spokesperson Theodore Tess says de Lima can still appeal the decision.
Under the rules, everyone who abuses has a recourse to file a motion.
De Lima's legal woes are far from over. She's still facing drug cases at Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court, Branch 205 and 206. She's yet to be arraigned at Branch 205, while Branch 206 has yet to issue an arrest warrant against de Lima. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
De Lima's lawyer, Florin Hilbay, questions the SC decision. He says convicted felons are not qualified to be state witnesses. Hilbay adds in the Philippines, fiction is more important than facts. The Liberal Party also reacts to the Supreme Court decision. In a statement, the LP says de Lima is innocent and is a victim of political persecution. It adds de Lima's case cannot be tried by the wrong court. The Liberal Party also expresses full faith that justices will be convinced the correct and just way forward is to free Senator de Lima. We're also getting reactions from de Lima's fellow legislators. Minority Senator Frank Dillon says there's still a chance for de Lima.
I disagree, but I will respect the Supreme Court decision. I hope that I assume Senator de Lima will file a motion for reconsideration.
In a text message, Senate President Coco Pimentel says he respects the Supreme Court's decision because the justices studied the case thoroughly. Pimentel says de Lima still has a second review of the case. He's back to face the music. Hazing suspect Ralph Trangia returned to the country with his mother today. The Manila police say he can shed light on what happened to law student Acho Castillo on September 17th. For now, Trangia is free because there is no warrant for his arrest. Our Rex Remitio has the latest.
Hazing suspect Ralph Trangia is back in the country 3 weeks after he was linked to the death of Horacio Acho Castillo. With him, his mother Rosemary Trangia, who is facing an obstruction of justice charge for allegedly helping her son escape to the U.S. They arrived shortly before lunchtime and were escorted by the police and a number of lawyers. Trangia refused to speak to the media.
Ano masabi mo na lang? Ano masabi mo?
The police invited the mother and son to cooperate in the investigation by issuing a sworn statement. But the Trangias refused to heed the call, even an offer for police security escorts on the way home.
Bakit siya uuwi na? Ba't di siya didiretso sa MPD or NBI?
Hindi, actually kasi hindi naman namin siya, wala kaming holdings para sa kanya. Wala yung intervention namin para dito.
So magagawa nyo lang iimbitahan siya?
Actually, hindi namin siya imbitahan. Nagre-request lang kami. To communicate Nakipag-coordinate na kami sa mga lawyer niya.
Manila Police Homicide Division Chief Romel Anicete says they will only arrest Tranguilla with a court warrant. But at this point, the case is still at the preliminary investigation stage in the Justice Department. Authorities are still hoping that Tranguillas would help shed light on the hazing death in the next hearings, such as fraternity members present during the initiation rites and how Asho died. Tranguilla's lawyer Roel Ilagan says his clients want to prove their innocence. He says the Tranguillas have no plans to escape as the return tickets were already booked.
Rest assured that our clients will file their counter affidavits, they will respect the legal process, and they will participate in the legal proceedings.
Rex Renitio, CNN, Philippines.
The lawyer of the Castillo family, attorney Lorna Capunan, says Ralph Tranguilla must be charged. Speaking to our chief correspondent Pia Ontiveros, Capunan adds there's a chance Tranguilla can be offered witness protection, but that's only if he appears to be the least guilty.
He must be charged, no? And he is already a respondent. He's among the 40 respondents. He has to give his counter affidavit on October 24. Now, as a matter of law, if you are the least guilty or if you appear to be the least guilty, then you can be offered a state as witness protection, as a witness protection program. No? But if you are the most guilty, I think we will leave that to the DOJ.
So far, at least 16 have been named persons of interest. Most of them remain at large. On September 25, senators began their investigation into Acho Castillo's case. No date yet has been set for the next hearing. The country just lost its chief health official. The Commission on Appointments has rejected Pauline Ubial as health secretary. After a series of hearings, 13 of the 25 members voted against her confirmation. Lawmakers grilled Ubial on her controversial decisions and policies, including the distribution of condoms to high school students, questionable appointments, and issues of graft and corruption. They also raised concerns about Ubial's 15 foreign travels in a span of just a year in office.
We have a rule na pag umabot na ng 13, reject or confirm, we stop the counting and destroy the ballots. Since we arrived at a minimum of 13 votes, not to proceed with the confirmation.
In a lengthy Facebook post, Ubial's son Carl reacted to the news saying, quote, "Today a part of me died." He said the commission not only rejected a cabinet official, but also a career spanning 29 years. He honored his mother's dedication, saying her legacy will live on. Ubial is the 5th cabinet appointee of President Duterte to be rejected by the commission. It previously rejected the appointment of Foreign Secretary Perfecto Yasay, Environment and Natural Resources Secretary Gina Lopez, Agrarian Reform Secretary Rafael Mariano, and Social Welfare Secretary Judy Taguiwalo. President Duterte himself is pushing for the impeachment of 2 high-level officials. Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno and Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales both were appointees of former President Noynoy Aquino. Sereno is facing an impeachment complaint at the House of Representatives. Last week, lawmakers found sufficient grounds in the complaint. Next on their table, finding out whether it has probable cause. Mr. Duterte, meanwhile, accuses Ombudsman Morales of partiality in tackling cases of officials, particularly those in the opposition during the Aquino administration. At least 2 groups are now preparing an impeachment complaint against Morales. But Liberal Party congressmen expressed their support in upholding the independence of the Office of the Ombudsman. Our Joyce Ilas tells us more.
Greco Belgica, a former senatorial candidate in Zatanggulang Demokrasya, want Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales impeached. In their draft impeachment complaint, Belgica claims Morales betrayed the public's trust for indulging in selective justice.
Kasi ang ombudsman ay namimili lamang ng kakasuhan kung perceived hostile or hindi sila kakampi ni Pinoy, agad-agad merong kaso. Pero kung LP, mukhang natatagalan ng kaso.
Belgica also claims in his complaint that Morales violated the Constitution when she failed to act promptly on complaints. The complaint states that numerous high-profile cases the Office of the Ombudsman filed before the Sandigan Bayan had been dismissed due to inordinate delays attributable to the Ombudsman.
Tinutulugan yung mga kaso, hindi inaksyonan sa tamang panahon. So masyadong delayed, that's what we call inordinate delay.
Some families of the SAF 44 are also planning to file an impeachment complaint against Morales. Attorney Ferdinand Topacio, the lawyer of 11 of the SAF 44 families, says among the grounds for impeachment the families will file is culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayal of public trust when it downgraded the cases filed against former President Noynoy Aquino.
It appears to me that the calls to have the Ombudsman impeached is now snowballing because of recent developments. And I think we are garnering more and more support in the lower house.
The Liberal Party initiated a House resolution expressing the lower chamber's intent to support, preserve, and protect the constitutional independence and integrity of the Office of the Ombudsman. As of Wednesday, 26 congressmen have already signed the resolution.
It's not a mere symbolic resolution. It's a concrete, constructive statement of the signatories. The President should respect the independence of constitutional bodies like the Ombudsman.
Opposition lawmaker Albay Representative Edsel Lagman doesn't believe the impeachment complaint against Morales will prosper in the lower chamber. But with the president's call to impeach Morales, Topacio and Luna are confident their impeachment complaints would fly in the lower chamber. Joyce Ila, CNN Philippines.
The lawyers of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno are seeking the right to cross-examine potential witnesses in her impeachment case. Speaking to CNN Philippines, the lawyers expressed dismay over last week's hearing at the lower house. They said lawmakers approved the grounds for impeachment without looking into witness accounts.
We were kind of disappointed because during the hearing our expectation was that the Congress, the committee would actually go behind the allegations, look for the evidence, look for the substance of the complaint, but they didn't do that, and so we're moving into this.
He has that right under the rules of impeachment of the House of Representatives. There is a section there that expressly mentions cross-examination following direct examination. Okay. So after the complainant presents witnesses, the respondent, the Chief Justice in this case, has the right to confront these witnesses.
Catch the full interview on the replay of The Source tonight at 11. Leaders of the Southeast Asian nations will gather here in the country next month for their yearly summit. The Metro Manila mayors declared there will be no classes in all levels for both private and public schools in Metro Manila. This will be after the summit on November 16th to 17th. The Metro Manila Council says the class suspension seeks to grant a longer break in case Malacanang orders a suspension of classes and work during the summit itself on November 13th to 15th. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are among the heads of state who are expected to join the summit. The Metro Manila Council also discussed proposals to ease traffic during the week of the ASEAN Summit. The MMDA presented to the Council its own suggestions, starting with a dry run for the convoy of the heads of state who will travel from Clark, Pampanga to Pasay City. The convoy will pass through normal traffic, but traffic enforcers and the police will clear the roads for faster transit. The Council also tackled other possible schemes to ease congestion in general, including exempting carpooling from the number coding on EDSA. Authorities say under this scheme, cars with only a driver inside may be banned, while vehicles carrying less than 3 people will still be subjected to the old coding policy.
Encourage natin ng tao is mag-carpooling sila para at least sama-sama sila dyan, mabawasan ang sasakyan. Kung 3 kayo sa isang sasakyan, wala na kayong coding, no, ililift natin ang coding nila and then pwede kayo dumaan sa EDSA at any time.
MMDA officials, however, clarify the road tests for the proposed schemes will take place early next year. Authorities say the firefight in Marawi is now just within a barangay in the main battle area. Our George Cahilas takes us inside Marawi to show us the extent of damage and the cost of rehabilitating the devastated city.
Government forces are closing in on the remaining ISIS-linked mountain members in a small area of Marawi City. More buildings are being cleared every day. The military says the fighting is just confined within a barangay, which is why the Mountie are fighting back fiercely. On Monday, First Lieutenant Mark Harold I of the Philippine Army Special Forces Regiment was killed in an operation, bringing the number of soldiers killed to 159.
During the assault, ay tinamaan po siya ng sniper fire galing sa kalaban. So, yung kalaban po ay talagang matindi pa rin yung resistance. Unfortunately, pinangakuan niya yung kanyang fiancé na ikakasal sila pag natapos itong Marawi siege. So, hindi na po matutuloy yung kasal nila.
This is how the main battle zone looks like now, with most structures are already reduced to rubble. But the mosques still standing even if it served as terrorists' safe house since the fighting began in May. The mountain now only has one mosque as a stronghold, the Markas Abu Bakar Mosque.
Yeah, they are actually more than ready. They long to see their houses. For 4 months, what they only see are footages on camera, on videos, on the news. So they really want to go and feel what is exactly the feeling inside the MBA, to put closure, at least to put closure.
The damage caused by the war has brought the total amount of rebuilding and rehabilitating Marawi City to a staggering 47 billion pesos or more. The provincial government of Lanao del Sur will spend 113 million pesos from its budget for the early recovery stage. Government officials say it's important to implement a proper rehabilitation plan for Marawi City. It is the only way to prevent another violent extremist crisis fueled by poverty and lack of opportunities. From Marawi City, George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
Good news for overseas Filipino workers. The government is creating a special bank to meet their needs. President Duterte issues an executive order forming the Overseas Filipino Bank, or OFB. Under EO 44, Philippine Postal Savings Bank, a subsidiary of the Philippine Postal Corporation, is transferring its shares to the Land Bank of the Philippines to create the financial institution. Mr. Duterte ordered Land Bank to provide capital to the OFB. The country shipped more goods abroad in August. Exports reached more than $5.5 billion. That's an improvement of 9.3% from the same period last year. The government pointed to the rise in shipment of major commodities in August. That includes gold, machinery and transport equipment, electronics, and coconut oil, among others. Electronic products accounted for more than half of total export revenue. Fans of Xander Ford, heads up! The internet sensation is coming over to CNN Philippines. Tune in to New Day tomorrow at 6 a.m. as he talks about his journey from being Marlu Arizala to Xander Ford. And if you've got any questions for him, you may tweet us at CNN Philippines using the hashtag Xander Ford on New Day. Fans are clamoring for a reunion movie between actor Aga Mulak and Tony Award winner Lea Salonga. Mulak and Salonga teamed up in the 1995 romantic film Sana Maulit Muli. Early this year, fans went crazy after Mulak said Salonga was the one that got away in an old love letter that later on went viral. In an interview with CNN Philippines, Mulak reveals there have been talks with Salonga and they're just waiting for the right project or story to come.
Sana Maulit Muli, andyan na yan, ano? Classic na siya. So if we do a movie again, dapat siya masihigitan niya Sana Maulit Muli. Pag hindi niya nahigitan niya, wag na natin gawin. So it's as simple as that. If we find a project, then it's gonna happen. We're aware of the clamor. That's why naghahanap kami ng storya. Naghahanap kami. Pag dumating yan, without a doubt, parang talaga we'll do it.
Aga Mulak will make a movie comeback in the latest Star Cinema project, 7 Sundays, while Lea Salonga is in New York for a Broadway show once on this island.